Good morning to you, Masego. What does this now mean for the former head of state?
It's a huge blow, Morena, for the former President Jacob Zuma. It now means that now that they're striking it off the roll with costs, it means there's more costs now to what he already has been ordered to do previously. You'd remember that he tried to stop the public protector, the former public protector, Tulima Donzala, from releasing that state of capture report. I remember as journalists, we sat that entire day trying to see if the High Court would grant him this interdict to stop that report from being released. And then it was an entire waste of time that day because, in fact, he then decided later on that day, after an entire bench sat through that, interdict, he decided then that he would release the report. And therefore, a lot of people would say that that is why the High Court then said that he would pay that case with cost because he basically wasted resources and people's time. We received the report, but also his argument is that he was arguing or he was trying to interdict the release of the report as the president. But now the High Court then said that, no, he needs to pay in his personal capacity. Fast forward to the Supreme Court of Appeal, where he tried to appeal the High Court's decision. On top of that, the Supreme Court of Appeal then said that he would, the state attorney has full rights to go after the former president and try and get the 25 million rand that has been used from taxpayers' money to fund his legal fees for his corruption trial. And then now there's today's judgment at the Constitutional Court, and with that one, Morena Mutupi, really, it's something that was very surprising to a lot of legal experts because he was an applicant, but he didn't hand in his heads of argument at all. He missed all his deadlines. His lawyer withdrew himself from the case, and so the Constitutional Court deciding today that it would hear the case. We already knew that there was no lawyer that's going to be going there representing the former president as an applicant. So you have the EFF, which was one of the respondents. You have the DA, one of the respondents. CASAC as well. It was one of the respondents. And today, basically, the sitting was very short, Morena. I think it was less than 5 minutes, where all the lawyers were telling the acting Deputy Chief Justice that they think that the matter should be struck off the roll because there are no heads of argument, so they don't have any response. And therefore, it should be struck off the roll with cost. And bear in mind, each of these respondents that I've mentioned, each have 2 lawyers, and both the lawyers of each team want to be paid. So here is one of the lawyers who was representing the EFF explaining to the Constitutional Court exactly why they opted to apply for this to be struck off the roll today.
Acting Deputy Chief Justice, as you and the members of the court will be aware, we are in a strange situation where the applicant for leave to appeal has not complied with this court's directives. No record of appeal has been filed, and in consequence thereof, no heads could have been submitted either by the applicant himself and certainly not by the respondents. However, from the affidavits that have been filed by my client and together with the affidavits filed by the client, my learned friends' clients, the court will be aware that we collectively take the attitude that this application as it stands before the court today is fatally defective and that it should be struck from the roll with costs. And certainly in the position of my client, it should be struck with the costs of 2 counsel where so employed.
All right, Masego, just before I let you go, I want to ask this, though. Where to now for the president, obviously, because he's losing case after case after case? Is he saying why he's challenging these cases? Does he even believe that he has a chance to win these cases?
So in terms of this case, Morena, it's over for the president. The Constitutional Court is the highest court in the land, and basically you, as the former president, applied for leave to appeal. You applied for the Constitutional Court to hear, to give you a hearing, and then you didn't do the things that you're supposed to do as an applicant to make sure that the court is able to actually hear the case. So in terms of this one, the president, unfortunately, it means he owes the state quite a lot of money in his personal capacity. The 6 to 10 million rand for the attempt to interdict the former public protector's release of the state capture report. The 25 million rand that the Supreme Court of Appeal also announced the state lawyers would be, in their right to try and get that money back. And this is also the same court, Morena, as you'd remember, when he was supposed to be testifying at the Zondo Commission of Inquiry, and he decided that he would just simply walk out. And then the Zondo Commission of Inquiry, of course, applying to the Constitutional Court for him to be found in contempt of court and possibly jailed. This is the same court. In his response to the Zondo Commission's application, he said that he doesn't trust the Constitutional Court. He believes that the Constitutional Court is after him as an individual, and this is the same court that he was trying to have hear him on his application for him not to be held liable for the cost of that interdict that he tried to get, and this 25 million rand, saying that he's a statesman. So for now, for the president, with this case, Morena, is over, he's going to have to pay the costs. And his reasoning really in terms of trying to fight all the way through with regards to the Zondo Commission of Inquiry, he's saying that the Zondo Commission of Inquiry is biased against him. He's given reasons. Remember, there was a whole thing about whether or not they're friends, whether or not they know each other, to a point where the Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo was telling the public that they've never even called each other to say happy birthday, to a point where they can say they're friends. They just have children with sisters. So the president, really, his legal woes are far from over.
Far from over, they definitely are. Masego, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much. That is, of course, our reporter Masego Rahlaga.